welcome to this edition of Zambezi lessons. This afternoon, I'll take you through grammar. Mr. Mwenya, Edwin, Mubanga, they are my names. So in grammar, we are going to look at a very interesting topic, which is based on adjectives. I'm sure previously you learned about adjectives. In those of you who are in grade 6, even in grade 5, you've learned about adjectives. Now, there's something important about adjectives that we need to understand, because if you know very well about these words, adjectives, nouns, verbs, pronouns, among other words, they fall under what we call word class. And word class, they are in two types. There is closed and open word class. So instead of looking at all those word classes, our main focus for today will be on adjectives formation, how we can form adjectives. So you can follow as we proceed with how to form adjectives. Okay, so in the rule number 1 on how to make adjectives or how to form adjectives using nouns is just by adding letter Y to the noun given. Now, if you have observed, the examples that I've cited, despite them being just two words, you understand that the two words here, which are the nouns, they end in letter D, or they end in a consonant, or they end with a consonant, so to say. Now, when these are ending with a consonant, it is easier for you to simply add letter Y and form an adjective. But there are some special nouns. I call them special because for them they end with the special vowels, which are some of them will end in like letter E, others will end in different vowels. Let's take a look at the example number 2 on how we can make adjectives using nouns. Example number 2. Now, if I have the word, like for example, I have a word like smoke. Let's say we have the word smoke. Now, this word smoke ends with letter E. For this word to change into an adjective, there must be something that should be done. Remember, here it's noun, here it's adjective. So the same thing applies even here. Here I have the word smoke. Now I want to change this into a noun, into an adjective. This is a noun, now changing it into an adjective. This will be, I'll write the word smoke, but I'm not going to include letter E. This letter E will be replaced by letter Y. So rule number 2, when you are forming nouns into adjectives, you simply replace the letter E, which is the ending letter, you replace it with letter Y, and that becomes an adjective. For example, another one, we have the word juicy. Now, this word to change into an adjective, you simply do the same. You write the word the way it is, like that. Then you simply add letter Y at the end of it. So, most of the adjectives which end in letter E or any other vowel, for them to change into an adjective, you simply replace that E with the letter Y, and that becomes an adjective. So if you have seen what we've done here, you can be able to tell that there's a difference. Here, these, they are not ending with the vowels, they are ending in with the consonant, but these are ending in with the vowel. Those which end with the consonant, they are easy to change. You simply add letter Y to them. But for these which ends in a vowel, you need to replace this vowel with the letter Y, and that becomes an adjective. So we have talked about 2 rules on how to change the nouns into adjectives. One by simply adding y to the noun given. The other one by observing if the noun ends with a vowel, and then you replace that vowel with the letter y, and that gives us an adjective which is formed from the word given. Now, let's look at another interesting thing on how to change nouns into adjectives or forming adjectives. This is example number 3. Let's look at example 3 on how to do this. Now, for example number 3, if you have a noun this side and then an adjective this side, you can do this. For example, we all know that sun is a noun. Sun is a noun. Now, this sun, if we want to change it into an adjective, somebody would say we simply add y to the noun, which is the sun. But in this case, this one is totally different from what we did in the rule number 1, in the sense that when we are changing the noun sun into an adjective, there's something special that changes to the word itself. For example, this word sun, it will be, we are going to add 2 letters to become sunny. You see many people saying today it's sunny. So this is the kind of an adjective they use by simply doubling letter N and then you add letter Y. The other one, for example, if you're talking about man, like this one, if we want to change this one into an adjective, the same rule, which is rule number 3, applies to this one in the sense that we are going to double the last letter and then add the letter Y to the noun given. For example, it will be like this. So this one will come out as muddy, like that. Meaning we have doubled letter D, the last letter is doubled and then we add letter Y. Let me give the other example on this same one. If you have the noun star, the same star, we all know what a star is. If I want to change this into an adjective, it will be like this. It will come out as a star. Meaning I will double the letter R and then add letter Y. This is rule number 3 on how to form adjectives. So, rule number 3, we are saying that adjectives are formed from nouns by doubling the last letter of a noun and then add the letter Y at the end of it. Remember that the letter Y is mostly used for the 3. This is rule number 3 on how to form adjectives. So, rule number 3, we are saying that adjectives are formed from nouns by doubling the last letter of a noun and then add the letter Y at the end of it. Remember that the letter Y is mostly used for the 3 rules except for the last one that we are going to look at, but the rest of them, most of the adjectives will end in letter Y. Like we have done here, we double the last letter and then we add letter Y to the same word, which is a noun, which changes now into an adjective. Let's look at the last example, or now we can change nouns or form adjectives using nouns. Let's look at the example number 4. Now, example number 4 does not use the letter Y like we have done for example number 1, 2, and number 3 at the end of the word. This one does not use the letter Y, but instead, such as the word marvel. Okay, this one can be changed also to the words such as marvelous. Now, something special again here will happen in the sense that the word marvelous will have something like this. The last letter here, which is L, is doubled and then we add OUS, meaning that here we have included Rule number 3, where we double the last letter and then add O-U-S. Then another word that we can take is a word such as miracle. We have the word such as miracle. The word miracle will come out as in miraculous. Miraculous, like that. So this is also another way through which adjectives are formed using nouns by simply adding OUS to the words that are given. So you have words such as miraculous, marvelous, dangerous, among other words that are used to form adjectives. So we've talked about 4 ways through which we can form adjectives by following the rules. Rule number 1, you simply add letter Y to the given noun and it becomes an adjective. Rule number 2, we are saying you replace the letter E or the ending vowel, you replace it with the letter Y and you form an adjective. Rule number 3, we are saying for this one, you double the last letter and then add letter Y. Double the last letter and add letter Y, like in the word sunny. Then rule number 4, we are saying for this one you need to add OUS. Like for example in the word danger, it becomes dangerous. Like in the word marvel, this one can change into marvelous. Or in the word like miracle, this one can change into miraculous. So this is how we can go about forming adjectives using the given nouns. So we can form adjectives. Okay, so having looked at the 4 examples, I want us to quickly go through a simple exercise, an activity that you can even try where you are sitting. You can try this one. Let's look at this activity. The instruction says, use underlined nouns to form adjectives. Now, it is always important to understand the instructions. The instruction says you use underlined nouns to form adjectives. So for each sentence given in this activity, there is a word which is underlined. That word is called a noun. Now, use that noun to make an adjective. Remember the rules that we were going through, the 4 of them. We can apply them to change the underlined nouns here to form adjectives. So the first sentence says a voice with a squeak. So this one will come out as in squeak voice. This one will come out as in squeak voice. Now for this one, we are applying the rule of simply adding the letter Y to the ending one, because this word ends with letter K, which is a consonant. The rule number 1 assures us that we can simply add the letter Y to that word and it becomes an adjective. Then number 2 says a dinner with a nice taste. So this one will come out as in tasty dinner. Now the word tasty ends with the letter the letter E, which is a vowel, and then this vowel is replaced by the letter Y to form an adjective. Then this one is saying food full of nuts. So this one will come as in will be. So this one will be not wood. Remember that you double the last letter and then you add Y. So instead of using this S as last letter, we are going to consider the T. We remove S, we replace it with Y, but we double the letter T, which is the last letter from the word not. Remember, the word itself is not. When they add S, they are simply showing you the plural form of how this word not can be written. So we are not considering much of this S, but instead we are considering the letter T. So T is doubled and then we add the Y. Then the last one says a business which prospers is in. So this one will come out as in prosperous. So this one will come as a prosperous. Now for us to make prosperous, we are simply adding OUS in order. So this is what we should follow each time we are given questions on how to change nouns into adjectives. I'm sure you've enjoyed my presentation, and thank you so much for watching this edition of Zambezi Lessons. Hoping to see you next time.